Hello, and welcome to a tutorial on how to make a bone rig for a suitcase. What we'll be going through is creating a bone structure, creating controls for the bones, and of course skinning. This is not needed just for a suitcase, but the fundamentals will be there for you to use for characters and other props, etc. etc. So, what I've got here is a suitcase, everything is separate. All these objects separate. You don't need to worry if they are not separate. It just makes it a bit easier for the rig, and it might be a thing which you might think about when you're creating your models, which you need to rig yourself. So what I'm going to first introduce you to is the main tool which we need for the bone rig here. So top, you need to click animation, scroll down and go to bone tools. Bone tools, so this is how we create our bones. What I'm going to do is click create bones here, and what this allows us to do, if we left click across the screen here, we can create bones. And what this has done is made a bone link here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all separate bones. Okay. If I minimize this, you will see that this one here is the top of the hierarchy. Obviously, this is not what we want to have here. If you ever do minimize your bone tools, it will be here at the bottom left. I'm going to click create bones. I'm going to create one bone for the main suitcase. So this is what we're going to call our parent bone. For now, I'm just going to start it from the back, put it to the front, right click. What you do see when you do right click and you end your bone structure, you'll see this little end bit here. What I'm going to do is delete that. We don't need it. However, a lot of people do like to keep it. It doesn't mean too much, but we also don't really want to take too much bone information into our game engine to take up a bit more of that data. So what I'm going to do is change these to X-ray mode. What you can do is select the object and hold down Alt and press X to change to X-ray mode, and now we can see the bone has been inserted inside of the object here. So that's our face bone set up. That's just our parent bone. So that's just what's going to move the suitcase around. What I'm going to do is then create another bone for this top bit. What you can do is actually, if you select your bone, so here, select your bone. I'm doing this in the top view. Just makes it a bit easier to see. What you can do is hold on shift and drag, and we can actually duplicate it if you wanted to, make it a copy. If you want to rename it to what's a bit more appropriate, then you can do that as well. Because we duplicated it, these are two separate, I guess, parents. I don't really want that. I want this bit here to be attached to the parent, so I'm going to hold on left click here. I'm going to drag it onto bone 001. What that's now done is made 002 the child of bone 001. So if I move this around, if I double click these and isolate, you'll see that if I select the parent and move the parent, the child will move. If I select the child and move the child, it will not affect the other bone. Currently we're having some problems with moving if we do want to move it, but that's something which we can sort out later on with the controls. Right, so unisolate. Right, so what you need to do is when you do start your rigging on your models, you need to think about what moving components there are. For now, I've obviously done the two obvious bits with this. The top of this briefcase and the bottom of the briefcase. What I would like to move is this. I would like this to flap open. Same with this one. I need to have this moving with the top of the suitcase here. Okay, and it needs to rotate from this orientation point here. So Let's get our bearing structure finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front view. If you want to quickly do this, what you do is hold on Alt and tap W. And if you hover your mouse over any of these other axes, you just hold on Alt and press W to go back in and it zooms in. Okay, it makes your viewport much bigger. I'm going to go on the front bit and I'm going to look at this section here. If you don't want wireframe on, you don't need it. If you wanted to, you could also go into your main perspective view where you can see the color and just press F. It will normally just direct you there, but if you wanted to, just default shading. So I'm going to open up my bone tools. I'm going to click create bones and I'm going to left click where I think this is pretty important where we want this to rotate from. We'll find out that in a second and we'll look for a fix. For now I'm just going to do a gradual one. Please do not follow this bit in the tutorial. I just want to show a problem which you could come across when it comes to orientation. So I've lost my bone. If you do lose your bone, what you can do is Alt W, find it in one of these other viewports here. What I'm going to do is move this over here. What we see here is a circle for the cylinder. I technically do want this to rotate perfectly from the center of this cylinder. If I do not, you will have problems with the skinning process, and I can show you that now. So let's say I put this here, click this flap. Let's just quickly go to the skinning. Do not follow this bit, please. Add bones, and this is where naming becomes important. For now, I know that it is bone 003. Select. If I rotate this bone, I might have selected the wrong one, but you can actually see, pretend this bone is over here. We can see is a bit of a problem with the orientation. We want this to be perfectly in line with this. So if this was a separate cylinder, such as this at the back, it would be very easily. I could just align the bone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try my best at making a cylinder. I'm going to try my best to align that perfectly with the cylinder shape on the top of the flat bit. I'm going to click that. Going to try and centralize it here. Seems fine. Move this up. I'm going to move this back to wireframe mode. The reason for that is I just think it's a bit easier to see where the center of the cylinder shape is with the wireframe. And here is a pretty important one. What I'm going to do then is rotate this cylinder. Minimize this. And try my best to put this as perfect as I can for the cylinder shape. What you can do is make it bigger and try and make the outline if you wanted to. And that's fine. So what I can see is that this is as perfect as I can get it to be in line, or this pivot to be in line with this cylinder shape, because this pivot here is in the middle of this lock. I do not want it to rotate from this axis here. Leave that cylinder there, it's just a help now. I'm going to delete that after, it's not going to be part of the model. I'm going to create a bone. Going to delete the knob bit at the end. Click this. I'm going to press or hold on Alt, tap A, and then left click this cylinder here. What this has now done is moved the pivot point of this bone to the pivot point of this cylinder here. If you want to keep the orientation, which will be important later on when we do our controls, we can select these as well. But for now, we don't. It doesn't really matter. All I care about is the pivot point location. Now that that's in place, it looks like it's angled 90 degrees this way. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. It doesn't matter too much. And that I'm happy with. So what I'm going to do is move this one to the right because I want it for this flat bit over here as well. If you wanted to, you could probably just move the bone, but just to be safe, I'm going to move this cylinder. Try not to move any other parts while you're doing this, such as this. You don't need to select the axis orientation bit over here. To move an object, you can sometimes accidentally just move something by just holding the left click. So that's there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to click this bone, hold on Shift, drag, create a copy, Alt A, align it to this cylinder here, and there we go. I'm happy. I'm going to delete that. You will not see this on the model at all. It's just a bone. It's just to give information where or what is affecting the rotation of certain objects on our models. So that bit's done. What I know now is that I need to sort out the parent and child. So let's have a look. Let's not use that one. Let's use this one. I'm going to select this bone here. If I rotate this, I want these to rotate with it. If not, this bit will rotate and these will stay floating. To fix that, we just go back to our parent and child rule. So I know that 3 and 4 are going to be the child of arrow 2. And the arrow 1 is the main parent and root bone. What I'm going to do is actually rename these. It could be B underscore bottom underscore root. This one could be B underscore top underscore. We don't need to call it root, so just leave it like that. B underscore flap underscore left. You can say right if you wanted to. Depends how you look at it. B underscore flap underscore. Alright, there we go. You don't always need to spell these like this. You don't need to write it out fully. You can just have it as R if you wanted to. That's normally the way which it's done. It just depends on you and how you like to be organized with your bone structure in the hierarchy over here. So now that's done. I've selected the top, and if I rotate it, you'll see that the flaps come with it. That's what we want. I can also see that if I rotate this, it will not affect anything else. So that's the bone structure done. I'm happy with that. Moving to the next part where I'll show you how to do a control rig for this bone structure.